This began in 1994 when I got a divorce from my ex-wife, and she made allegations of abuse that were completely unfounded and proved in court, and I lost my job as a police officer because of her. It was also during that time that 4 months into our divorce, I discovered my ex-wife was pregnant. She was withholding that information from me until such a time during her term that it was too late to do anything about it. Not that that would have ever been an option. During the subsequent years of my daughter's growing up, I've had the fight in court where I'm told that although she doesn't know where I live with a known child abuser or a child molester. And I've had to show that that's a lie each and every time. And the court does absolutely nothing about it. They tell her to knock it off, that it interferes with my time as a father, but they do nothing to stop her. In 2005, we went to court because someone using my ex-wife's password, personal AOL account, and what have you on my daughter's computer put over 23 pages of kiddie porn on my daughter's computer, and then allowed my daughter to fly from Florida to California with that information on the computer. Once I found it, I went to the FBI. That's what you do. That's what the FBI does. They pride themselves on going after child molesters. As a matter of fact, they identify that specifically on their website. These pillars of society that are supposed to protect your civil rights and protect our children did absolutely nothing. In fact, after looking at the information on my daughter's computer, they said, well, were you a woman? We could stop your ex-husband's visitation right now, but because you're a man, there's nothing we can do for you. Take it to court. I sold everything I had, my cars, stuff I had in the military, everything, to get an attorney to bring her to court. Once we were in court, she made one claim of not having my address, even though there were 25 letters showing certified registered mailings from my ex-wife to me that I had to show proof of residency for. The judge looked at that and said, well, that seems to be more of a problem than the kiddie porn on the computer. Didn't matter that an agency that does that work for police departments verified what I found. They actually went through the computer at their expense, not mine, and was able to show the court in writing, in their documentation, that this was done on Labor Day in 2004 from a location in Pensacola, Florida to an access point in Pensacola, Florida, using my ex-wife's name and password. They were able to tell you what house it came from, but the judge didn't want to hear that. He completely violated the California Evidence Code and told me that I had no right to bring it to court, that I was a fool for bringing it to court, and told me that I needed to go through a mental health examination. Now, I had one when I left high school to go into the military. I had one to work nuclear security. I had one to go overseas. I had one when I got out of the military to be hired by Indio Police Department, and I had one when I volunteered to go back for Desert Storm, Desert Shield. What do you think you're going to tell me the sixth time that you couldn't figure out the first five? There's nothing wrong with me. I sat before a judge who couldn't do his job. And when I demanded he do his job, he told me I was nothing more than an angry and hostile man and took my child away from me. That I was incompetent, that I had no right to be a parent. The first responsibility of any parent is protect your child. I had to sit through psychological evaluations with a marriage and family therapist who this judge ordered to look into the issue of child pornography on my daughter's computer. She was neither qualified by the state nor certified by DOJ to do anything that she was told to do by the court, but she willingly did it. I had to go through 21 weeks of a police academy as everybody else does to be a police officer. I had to go through additional training to be an investigator. And you're telling me that this individual, although has an education, has no requirements whatsoever according to the DOJ, can investigate issues of kiddie porn on my daughter's computer, who had the nerve to contact the very company who found that child support and tell them that she felt I was crazy for bringing this forward? And then you're going to take my child away from me and not do anything about the issue of kiddie porn on a computer? What would be the more serious crime? Somebody lying to you that they don't have my address? Sorry, I just get carried away.
That's okay. You want to open your box?
Yes.
I'm leaving the camera rolling.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I was at a point where I'd worked myself to exhaustion. I've been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. When I left the police department, I got rid of all my guns. I didn't want anything to do with being a police officer after my ex-wife got me fired. And that is court documented and validated. So I wrote about it. I wrote about finding kiddie porn on her computer, about every step of the process that I went through, everything they should have done and everything they refused to do, including holding hearings where neither myself nor my attorney were present and finding against me in those hearings. They seem to think that family law and civil law are one and the same, and they're not. And a game they like